This is Gene Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 664, originally aired June 26, 2025. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are or whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Now, as you engage with this episode of the podcast, either looking at your podcast app or watching it on YouTube, and you see the thumbnail or the title down below, you see something along the lines of, "You're not stuck, you're safe." And so what I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to talk about the subconscious mind and how we respond to the subconscious mind in our tapping as it gets in the way of what's going on. And so to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this in two steps, because when we approach it in the way that I'm going to share with you today, it's going to make it so much easier for you to clear resistance, which means that you take the action that you like, which means that you end up creating a life that you love as we engage with what is going on inside of all of this. Now, as we do this, I recognize the fact that those of us in the transformational space have spent a huge amount of time thinking about the subconscious mind and thinking about the way that the subconscious mind gets in our way. And when we do that, it's easy for us to just simply accept that as a fact and then move on and not respond to that. So what I want to do is I want to tease out just a little bit what that means, even if you've thought about this before. But I want to, after we do that, is I want to talk about the mistake that people make in responding to that and how we can respond slightly differently to understanding our resistance and the motivation of the subconscious mind, which is going to allow us to get so much more out of our transformation, out of our tapping, out of whatever tool that we're using to create change. So, the basics. The subconscious mind operates from the place of wanting to keep us safe. Now, when it does this, there are two obstacles that we run into when the subconscious mind is trying to keep us safe. Obstacle number one is it might misunderstand the danger in the world. Obstacle number two is it thinks in a very, very short-sighted sort of way. So let's take those one at a time. So it is operating in a way where it doesn't always know the truth. So for me, whenever I'm tapping, the goal is always a proportionate, well-informed emotional response. Fear, resistance is an emotional response, which is saying, hey, don't move. We want you to be safe. The movement you are trying to take, the action you are trying to take, the thing that you are trying to do, that is going to put you into danger. And it is good that there's a part of me that wants me to be safe. But the goal is a proportionate, well-informed emotional response. So what does proportionate and what does well-informed look like? So as I sit here in my apartment in Brooklyn, New York, there are large animals in the Brooklyn Zoo, or in the Central Park Zoo, and in the Bronx Zoo. And it is good that I am afraid of lions and tigers and bears, oh my. That is a good thing. But if I never left my apartment because 9 miles away in a zoo, there is a lion, a tiger, or a bear, oh my, that is a disproportionate emotional response. If I were to walk through my kitchen and I see a mouse on the floor and I jump on the table and I scream like a 5-year-old, that is misinformed because the mouse isn't actually dangerous to me. So in both cases, my subconscious mind is creating resistance. I'm not leaving my apartment. I'm not moving through my kitchen so that I can be safe. Except both of those examples are silly enough that we know that there is no actual danger in either of those instances. And so I get frustrated because of this disproportionate and misinformed sense. So that's one thing that we need to respond to. The second thing that we need to respond to is the short-sighted nature of our emotional responses. Almost always when we're having an emotional response, it's about keeping us safe in the moment. I am dealing with a bunch of anger or anguish or whatever is going on, and my subconscious mind goes, I want to feel better, therefore I'm going to eat cookie dough ice cream. So it is choosing a path to solve a problem that is super, super short-sighted. Because basically all that I'm doing when I'm consuming processed sugar in that particular regard is it's kind of like taking aspirin for a headache. It's not healing anything. It's just masking the emotion that is there. And so that is a short-sighted response from the subconscious mind. Because what it's trying to do is it's trying to make me feel better without healing anything, short-sighted number one, and it's actually making a choice that is unhealthy for me in a long-term way. That if every single time I had a strong emotional response, I reached for ice cream, that would create a very, very unhealthy physical body for me to be in as I'm engaging with that. And so now we're in a circumstance that we understand that. And I would be willing to bet what I just said to you about the subconscious mind, about it being short-sighted, about it having disproportionate, misinformed emotional responses, none of that is a surprise to you because you've thought about this before. And so one of the things that I like to do when I'm tapping is I like to appreciate how the subconscious mind is trying to take care of me. I appreciate the fact that my subconscious mind is trying to keep me safe. I appreciate the fact that my subconscious mind is trying to keep me out of danger. And so it's good for us to have that sense of appreciation, but tapping on the appreciation for the intention of the subconscious mind, because I do that. I appreciate my subconscious mind is trying to keep me safe, and I can appreciate that and recognize the choices it's making are unhealthy. Like I can do both of those things simultaneously. But the problem is we can reach for that sense of appreciation too quickly. Because intellectually, I can go, yes, I appreciate the fact my subconscious mind is trying to keep me safe. But when that resistance that is trying to keep me safe is keeping me small, is preventing me from taking action, is holding me back from moving forward, then it is almost impossible for me to appreciate that. And so if I'm tapping on the fact that I appreciate my subconscious mind is trying to keep me safe as I'm navigating this, but I'm not in a space for appreciation, I'm just papering over the cracks. I'm not doing anything that is actually creating change. I'm just kind of mollifying myself a little bit. So I think it is super, super, super valuable for us to tap on appreciating the intention of our subconscious mind in its resistance without appreciating what it is doing, only when we are emotionally safe to do that. And so for what that means to me is before I tap on my appreciation, I want to tap on my frustration. Right now, I am really frustrated and angry at myself because my subconscious mind is getting in my way. I know the right thing to do. I know the right way to do it. I have all the resources to do it. My life would be so much better if I just took this action. And I am frustrated and disappointed and angry at what is going on because I am my worst enemy in this particular circumstance. And so basically what I do to start out with is I throw a temper tantrum and I say all of the things that I'm feeling about the resistance. Then as I start to take an edge off of that, I'm giving that fear, that disappointment, that frustration, that anger at myself and the way I'm getting in my own way. By tapping on that first, it then opens the door for me to be in a position where I can be appreciative of the intention of the subconscious mind. It is good. It is valuable. It is important that we tap on our resistance. And I personally find it so valuable to tap on being appreciative of that resistance intent before I start to create change with it. Because if I appreciate its intention, I appreciate you're trying to keep me safe, then I know the subconscious mind's going to be open to, and you're not actually making me safe, you're making it harder. Like that is a foundation to the work that I do. Appreciate the emotional response's intention, and then share how the emotional response is getting in the way. But before I can do that, I have to get there. And so what that means is if I'm going to tap on resistance, I'm going to do it in the way of First, I'm going to tap and throw a temper tantrum about how frustrated and disappointed I am about the resistance. Then I'm going to appreciate the resistance's intention. Then I'm going to share with the resistance how it's getting in the way. And then finally, I'm going to share the story that I would like to carry instead. And that's the moment where I'm transforming the programming I'm carrying in my subconscious mind so it doesn't get in the way in the future. Throw a temper tantrum about the resistance. Appreciate the resistance intention. Explain to the resistance how it's actually getting in the way. Install the new thought or belief. If you do it in that order, if you go through those 4 steps and not skipping any of them, I have found in my own experience that my transformation is faster, it is deeper, and most importantly, it is more long-lasting. It's not just about this moment, but it's about what is coming forward after the fact. So that is a really, really, really simple approach to engage with this. If you know someone in your life who would appreciate this, pass it along so they can enjoy the conversation as well. And we always joke about the fact that our marketing budget is your word of mouth. Now, before we go, I have one final thing to share with you. Every single week, and I got this idea from the podcast, Secretly Incredibly Fascinating. At the end of every single episode, Alex Schmidt pulls up a random number generator and points to an old episode. Before I started recording this, I did the exact same thing. I went to random.com and it kicked out the number 492, which is an amazing podcast on how to get the most out of a tapping session. It's a number of really simple things that you can do to add on to what we've just talked about right here to make it significantly easier for you. All you need to do is go to tappingqanda.com/492 for episode 492, tappingqanda.com/492, and it'll take you to that episode. As you look at the screen right now, you can see an entire back catalog list of all of the podcasts. Click on that, dive in. There's hundreds of hours of free training waiting for you, and I look forward to talking with you and tapping with you again real soon. Bye-bye.